My wife and I had been researching different spots for about 10 years. Yeah, our house was built from scratch. Ownership, it's not a problem. Not near the problem that it is in some other countries like Mexico. The Panamanian government changed the visa regulations and made it quite a bit more difficult.
Meet Corby, a Texan who left the US with his wife and kids to start fresh in Roatan, Honduras. He shares why they didn't choose Panama or Costa Rica, what life costs on the island, and what it really takes to build a home and a life abroad.
What the crap is he doing here? Can I please get your name, where you're from, how old you are, and how long you've been here for?
My name's Corby Walker from the state of Texas. Just turned 50 last June, and we've been living in Roatan for a little over a year now.
So did you do any research before coming down here to Roatan?
Yeah, not only on Roatan. My wife and I had been researching different spots in the Caribbean to potentially move and relocate for about 10 years. We'd been to Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Mexico, the Virgin Islands, and we had previously decided on Panama. We were going to move to Panama, and in the midst of planning, the Panamanian government changed the visa regulations and made it quite a bit more difficult for expats to get their visas there. So I was actually laying in bed with my wife one night, and we were watching HGTV, and one of the specials on relocate to Roatan came on. So we decided to come check it out, and here we are.
Why didn't you choose Costa Rica and Nicaragua?
Costa Rica primarily because of the expense. We were looking for a less expensive place to try to stretch our dollars when we decided to move. So Costa Rica, it was primarily, it's a little more Americanized than here in Honduras, and the prices kind of reflect that. Nicaragua is hands down the most beautiful place we've been. It's
Really?
Absolutely gorgeous. The
Wow.
giant trees, the flora and the fauna is just unbelievable there. The wildlife, but the infrastructure there was lacking. It was probably 15 years behind Costa Rica. The lack of infrastructure is really the reason that we decided against Nicaragua. So we moved the whole family down with my wife and my 13-year-old son and my 18-year-old daughter at the time. When we went to Nicaragua, my daughter was still in middle school, so we were trying to make that move before she got into high school. We went and visited one private school in Nicaragua. In her age group, there were only two other girls, and she was about a foot taller than both of them, so it was quite a bit of culture shock for her. So primarily cost of living. Wanted to move to a place where we could leave our former life and kind of cash in our chips and allow our dollar to stretch further. So it was cost of living. We have him in a private school called Island Academy. We pay just under $400 a month for his private school, whereas this Cabo San Lucas, for instance, you could pay up to $4,000 a month there. So you're looking at around, $1,500 a month. There's quite a few expats that live here, so you're not as disconnected as you would be in some other areas from an expat community. This island was a British territory back until the 1850s, I believe. So English was and is the primary language. There's been a big migration from the mainland. Now, if you don't speak a little bit of Spanish, it's a little bit difficult to get by in some situations, but there still is mostly English spoken here.
Do you feel pretty safe in this neighborhood? Let's start with Roatan and then the neighborhood.
It's like anywhere, you have to know where you can and where you can't go at what time of the day and night. We've never felt in danger in this neighborhood whatsoever. We're great friends with all of the gate guards. Like I said, it's gated 24/7.
Now, looking back, we see a beautiful boat. What is the name of this boat?
It's the Soul Surgeon.
We'll talk a little bit about her later. Now, behind the boat, we see the neighborhood where you are currently living in, right?
Yeah, our house is actually right up the street from the dock here. It's about a 5-minute walk from here up the street.
What's the name of this neighborhood?
It's Coral Views Village.
It's a private neighborhood, right?
It is private. It's gated up on the hill on the main road and then gated down here by the marina as well.
If you're enjoying this interview and you're interested in seeing more content like this, you can check out my playlist called the Expat Interview Playlist, where I have been interviewing people from Guatemala all the way down through Central America and now here in South America.
How much do you spend per month on food, maybe both in supermarkets and going out to eat?
You can spend a lot of money here going out to eat if you eat out a lot. So we probably spend $300 to $350 a month on groceries, and then we probably spend another $600 to $750 a month going out to eat. So probably around $1,000 to $1,100 a month on food. We probably spend around $350 a month in fuel. Electricity is very expensive here, so we've paid anywhere from $280 to about $500 a month.
Is it expensive to live in a private community like this?
This isn't a high-end community per se, but it's one of the nicer gated communities on the island. We pay a small monthly HOA fee of $100 a month. We also pay a $50 fee for the water well for garbage a month. So it's $150 a month for HOA and water and trash.
Other countries don't allow you to own the property where you live, and on Roatan, that's not a problem, right?
It's not a problem. Ownership, not near the problem that it is in some other countries like Mexico. We got hooked up through our relationship with Dan Horn. We got hooked up with a local attorney by the name of Daniel Matamoros. He ended up setting up a Honduran corporation, and that's how we ended up owning the house inside that corporation. Our house was built from scratch. From a cost of construction perspective, it can be quite a bit cheaper than the States. I'd say a good range is $130 to $170 a square foot. Depending on finish out, depending on the cost of your slab, depending on several other factors. But $130 to $170 a square foot is a pretty good finished dollar per square foot figure. We were in the $400,000 range for our home.
Did you expect to pay that much, or?
We really didn't have any expectation. We wanted to be in a smaller home than we lived in Texas, and we wanted to be able to move down, to sell our personal home in the States and move down and pay cash for something here. Construction down here is quite a bit different than Texas, and having a unique perspective of having been a home builder in Texas, I realized when we moved down here that I didn't want to come down and try to hire the contractors and build our own home. It's a completely different animal here. So that's why we ended up contracting with a local builder. Every home builder is only as good as his contractor base, and I was smart enough to know when we moved down here that I didn't know anybody on this island, much less the good contractors. So there was really no inclination of me ever moving down and building my own home here from the jump.
Very beautiful kitchen you had here. Very modern.
Yeah, so my wife designed most of our houses that we built in Texas, so she was in charge of all the design work in the house.
Open concept living, huh?
Got the dog right here that cost me an 1,800-mile drive down through Mexico.
If you're considering relocating to Latam with your dog, check out Corby's story here about just that.
So this is kind of what we built the house around, a big outdoor living space. We wanted a bigger pool. Upstairs, we have another bedroom upstairs with another patio upstairs. So it's everything that we needed. A little under 2,000 square feet.
So that time has come. We're going to talk about that beauty right behind us. And my guess is that since you own a boat here in Roatan, you are kind of a guy that likes water activities. Is that safe to say?
That's very safe to say. That's one of the primary reasons why we chose Roatan, is the water activities here. I did have the boat that you see in the background built.
Let's talk a little bit about the price of the boat.
Yeah, we had the boat built by a local boat building company, Martinez Boat Works. We had it built locally, all in, for a little over $100,000. And for anybody that knows boats, this is a 31-foot center console with twin 250 Yamahas. A boat like this in the States would probably run in the $180,000 to $250,000 range.
Why did you call it soul searching? There must be a reason for that, right?
Yeah, my wife and I kicked around names for a while, and soul is a play on the Spanish word for sun, so sun searching. we figured that fit pretty good here in Roatan. One of the biggest things down here, and I think you'll hear this from a lot of expats, is before you decide to make a move down here, you should really come down and visit for a month or two, maybe 3, 6 months if you can afford the time. Get down here, live in several different areas. Number one, to make sure that Roatan is for you, and then number two, to figure out where on the island you want to land.